Someone was inside my apartment while I was asleep. And I know it wasn't a hallucination. Ever since high school, my biggest goal was to get my own place. Home never felt safe. My dad drank hard on weekends. My parents fought constantly. I learned early that the best way to survive was to stay out of the way and count the days until I could leave. So when I moved out at 19 while attending a commuter college, it felt like freedom. My parents wouldn't help me live on campus, so I spent weeks glued to Zillow, Facebook, and Craigslist until I found a small, cheap one-bedroom apartment. It wasn't nice, but it was mine. The layout matters. You walked straight into a single open space that served as the living room and dining area. The kitchen was tucked behind a wall. A narrow hallway led away from everything, with 2 closets and the bathroom along the way. At the very end of that hallway was the bedroom. The bedroom felt safe. It was big enough for a queen bed, a TV, dressers, and had 2 closets. When you were in there, you couldn't see the rest of the apartment at all. A few months after moving in, I went out drinking with friends and brought a girl back to my place. I'll call her Sammy. We'd known each other through school, but had never hung out alone. We drank, put on a movie, and eventually passed out in my bed. Nothing happened beyond that. At some point in the night, I woke up to the sound of footsteps. I looked beside me. The bed was empty. I jumped up and looked down the hallway and saw Sammy in the living room quietly gathering her things. She was moving carefully, trying not to wake me. I understood. I stayed silent and let her go. I heard the front door close. Just to be sure, I called her name once. No response. I went back to bed and fell asleep almost immediately. About an hour later, a loud noise ripped me awake. My heart started pounding before I even understood why. I called out Sammy's name again, knowing it didn't make sense. Nothing. That's when I noticed my bedroom door was still open. I was still half drunk, heavy and slow, but my eyes locked onto something that didn't belong. Something dark, wrapped around the door frame. I stared, trying to convince myself it was just shadow, or my vision adjusting. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. 2 hands were gripping the doorframe, fingers curled tightly around the wood, knuckles pale, nails digging in. The instant the light hit them, the hands clenched harder and then vanished, pulling back out of sight like whatever they belonged to knew it had been seen. I screamed. I screamed for them to get out. I screamed until my throat burned. When I finally forced myself out of bed, the hallway was empty. I turned on every light in the apartment. I checked the bathroom, every closet, behind furniture, under tables, even inside kitchen cabinets. There was nowhere for anyone to hide. What I couldn't get past was this. I never heard the front door open. I called Sammy. She sounded half asleep and confused. She told me she'd left a long time ago and gone straight home. I called my best friend, who told me I was still drunk and probably half dreaming. That explanation almost worked. Until the next morning. Sunlight made everything feel normal again. I started to calm down. Then I walked into my bedroom and looked at the doorframe. There were fingerprints, clear as day, pressed deep into the wood, exactly where I saw the hands. They weren't mine. I took a photo and saved it. I started locking my door obsessively after that. When my lease ended, I moved out and never went back. I still don't know who was in my apartment that night. What scares me most is that they weren't trying to steal anything. They were just watching me sleep. Look,